Part 19. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 181. Fu Nanli stood in the corridor, frowning. The Ye family's housekeeper ran over panting in a raincoat. The construction team is still making repairs. It will be open to traffic tomorrow morning. Don't worry, young master. How could Fu Nanli not be anxious? He promised her to go back in 3 days, but it has been 5 days and there is no news from him. She must be anxious, right? After passing the toll station, the car got on the highway. Lu Yuyu didn't drive very fast. After all, it was raining. For the sake of safety, the wiper wiped back and forth frequently. Lu Yuyu whispered, "It feels like there is a ghost sitting in the back. Yeah, look at him." He didn't say a word after he got in the car. It's really scary. Wen Qiao reached out and turned on the tape recorder. Let's listen to some songs. Qiao, do you feel any discomfort in your body? Nothing now. The time was 4:30 in the afternoon. Because it was a rainy day, the light was particularly dim. Wen Qiao put his hand on his heart and felt the frequency of his heartbeat. The road was smooth and it was 5:40 when we left the Shaocheng toll station. Wen Qiao felt anxious. The last time he fainted was after 6 o'clock in the evening, so he had to see Fu Nanli before 6 o'clock. The car plunged into the night, and the rain continued unabated, making people feel terrified. In the Ye family villa, the old lady won a lot of money and happily asked the servants to prepare the meal. Fu Nanli was standing in the corridor smoking. There were many cigarette butts in the ashtray on the railing. The old lady came out to stretch her muscles. When she saw her grandson's frown, she deliberately turned cold and said, "What? You are trapped in the mountains with me, an old lady, not happy." Fu Nanli quickly pinched the cigarette butt. "How could that happen? When I see you these past few days, you always have a frown on your face. Aren't you just unhappy?" Fu Nanli put his arms around the old lady and walked into the house. "No, you are worrying too much. Is there anyone you're worried about?" Fu Nanli's heart skipped a beat. The old lady really had a pair of wise eyes. "You are joking." The old lady muttered like a child, "I'm not joking with you. I'm not young anymore. I'm old enough to be with someone. Do you hear me?" Heard it? When the car arrived at the foot of the mountain, Wen Qiao understood everything. The hillside on the roadside had collapsed. This was the reason why he did not rush back on time. There is no signal in the mountains, which is why his phone calls have been unable to get through. The emergency repair team saw their car and hurriedly came forward. The staff wearing fluorescent vests said, "The road will not be passable until tomorrow morning." Wen Qiao's heart suffocated and her face turned pale. She hurriedly stretched out her hand to hold her down. Seeing that her expression was not right, Lu Yuyu quickly put down the seat and let her lie down. "Is it time to start?" Wen Qiao reluctantly nodded, "Yes." Dong Yao observed her reaction curiously. Lu Yuyu held an umbrella and got out of the car. "I have something very important to talk to someone from the Ye family." The captain of the emergency repair team knew that the Ye family was a famous family in Shao City. Seeing the girl in a hurry, he said, "We have a battery car that can give you a ride." "Thanks, thanks." Lu Yuyu got in the car and wanted to take a look at Wen Qiao. Dong Yao glanced at her and said, "She fainted." Lu Yuyu was instantly confused. Then you guard her. I'll go up the mountain to find Mr. Fu immediately. You guard her for me, do you hear me? No. You must. She might die if she keeps nagging. Lu Yuyu hurriedly got on the captain's battery car and headed up the mountain. The Ye family's dinner is exquisite and exquisite. The dishes are served one after another, and the atmosphere at the table is good. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 182. Yamingkaiu served a bowl of fish soup to the old lady. If you ask me, Mom, you should also go to Hiken. We are all in Hiken. The old lady was unhappy. I'm used to living here. Hiken is a big city. It's too developed and I don't like it. It's not because Dad has been gone for so many years and I'm afraid you'll be lonely here alone. I have many sisters here, and we often get together. Besides, Shaocheng is not far from Hiken. It's true that you should be less busy with work and come back to see me often. The housekeeper hurried in and said, "Second young master, there is a little girl outside the door who said she is looking for you." Fu Nanli looked stern, immediately put down his chopsticks, and hurried out with the butler. The old lady became excited and her eyes were shining. "Little girl, go and have a look." Yamingkaiu quickly grabbed the old lady. "Mom, it's raining outside, don't join in the fun." "Did you hear that? There is a little girl. Is Nanli dating someone?" Yamingkaiu said vaguely, "No. Not sure. The bastard wouldn't let go, and it wasn't convenient for her to reveal it." Fu Nanli hurried to the gate and saw Lu Yuyu, his expression solemn. Lu Yuyu looked like the sky was about to fall. "Master Fu, Chiao Chiao is waiting for you at the bottom of the mountain." "What's up with her? She misses you." Fu Nanli asked the driver to drive the car to the foot of the mountain, parked the car at the landslide, and then walked through the rocks and gravel without even bothering to hold up an umbrella. The black BMW SUV had its lights on, the wipers were still swaying from side to side, and the windshield was fogged, making it difficult to see clearly what was going on inside. The engineering team's headlights were on, and behind them could be heard the enthusiastic voices of the workers. Fu Nanli quickly walked to the car, opened the door, and saw Wen Qiao half lying on the car seat. A boy in the back seat leaned forward and looked at her, so close that he could have felt annoyed. He stretched out his hand to push the seat higher. Dong Yao saw the man coming and stood up slowly, seeing the chill in the man's eyes. He was just observing the patient's reaction as a doctor. Why was he so hostile? "Qiao er." Fu Nanli reached out and gently touched Wen Qiao's face, while Lu Yuyu held an umbrella for him. "What's wrong with her?" Fu Nanli turned to look at Lu Yuyu. Lu Yuyu said bravely, "Driving all the way here, she fell asleep." Fu Nanli looked at the person lying on the car seat with doubts. He didn't seem to be asleep, but seemed to have passed out. The hand she was holding suddenly moved, and Wen Qiao suddenly opened her eyes. What came into view was the backlit Fu Nanli. His face and expression were a little blurry, but they made her feel at ease. She immediately hugged Fu Nanli. Fu Nanli had to bow slightly, half entered the carriage, patted her back gently, and said in a clear voice, "What's wrong?" Wen Qiao hugged him tightly. After walking away from the gate of hell for the second time, his fear was still clear. "You said you would return to Hiken in 3 days. Why did you lie to me?" In Fu Nanli's ears, her voice was full of grievances, and his heart had already turned into a puddle of mud because of her dependence on her. No time to think about anything. Because of the rain, the soil slope at the foot of the mountain collapsed. Wen Qiao knew that she had seen it all, but she still wanted to complain and listen to him say it softly. "I couldn't get through the phone either. I waited for you in your apartment for 2 days. The voice seemed to be filled with mist and was slightly choked. Every word touched his heart, and every word told his grievances. There is no signal in the mountains, and the slope of the mountain collapsed. The old lady had an excuse to ask us to stay with her for 2 more days. It would be difficult to leave." Wen Qiao said in a low voice, "Oh, I understand. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 183. Lu Yu held the umbrella for Fu Nanli, but the rain still drifted in through the gaps in the umbrella. Her hair, collar, and shoulders were all stained by the cool rain in the mountains in autumn. But he remained motionless, letting her hold him. "You plan to go back tomorrow, can't you wait even a day?" He gently stroked her hair. "Wenqiao, I didn't know you were coming back tomorrow. I thought something had happened to you, so I rushed here." This excuse makes sense. "I rushed 200 kilometers because I was worried about him." "Where did you get the address? Ask Fu Cheng for it." "Nothing will happen to me." Wenqiao still hugged his neck. "I don't have a god's perspective, so I don't know what happened to you." "Silly girl." Lu Yu's hands were sore as she held the umbrella. Looking at Mr. Fu's posture, she felt uncomfortable no matter what, her waist and shoulders would be sore. Okay, if Mr. Fu can persist, she can persist, and let them be bored for a while. When Xiao finally felt that her physical signs had returned to normal, and then she let go of Fu Nanli. The drizzle was falling behind him. She couldn't help but touch his handsome face, saying in her heart, "It's good to be by your side. Since you drove here, I will go back with your car and let Lao Hu drive." Fu Nanli walked through the rocks again and said to Lao Hu, "You go up first and tell the old lady that there is something important in Haikan. I will go back first." Fu Nanli returned to the car and adjusted the seat. Lu Yu pulled Dong Yao out of the car and let him sit in the passenger seat. She, Chiao and Fu Xiao were in the back seat. Fu Nanli sat down and glanced at the person in front of him. "Who is he?" "Wen Xiao, his name is Dong Yao. He is from our school and is from the same club as us." Fu Nanli frowned slightly. "So, why did he come to Shaocheng with you?" He could understand that Lu Yu stayed with her. But this boy named Dong Yao was also there. He couldn't understand and didn't accept it. "They are both from our folk music club, and we have a good relationship. I don't have a driver's license, and he follows me, so I can drive for Yu." In such a long sentence, Master Fu only heard 4 words. Good relationship. When Lao Hu returned to the family courtyard, the old lady looked through the autumn water and saw Lao Hu, and she became excited again. "Did you bring the little girl here?" Lao Hu put the umbrella by the corridor door, patted the water on his shoulder, and said, "The young master said that he is going back to Haikan first. Let me talk to the old lady." The old lady's face was full of disappointment. "I'm not that man-eating tiger, why can't you bring me the little girl to take a look? Is such an enlightened old lady like me also on guard against her?" Lao Hu laughed along with him. "The young master is still waiting for me to drive, so I will, go." The old lady waved her hands in displeasure. Go ahead, go ahead." Yamingkaiu took advantage of the situation and said, "How about, Mom, come with us to live in Haikan for a while? Maybe there will be a chance to see that little girl." The old lady got excited again. "Well, what you said makes sense." Lao Hu drove towards Haikan. The light in the carriage was dim. Wen Xiao's hand was held in Fu Nanli's palm. Feeling his warmth, Wen Xiao felt at ease. He kept asking questions. "Have you established a folk music club?" Lu Yu tried his best to reduce the sense of presence and worked hard to create a 2-person world for them. Wen Xiao, "Yeah. Several people. 6 people." Fu Nanli interlocked with her fingers, pressed their thumbs together, and asked casually, "How many boys and how many girls?" "Dong Yao is the only boy. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 184. Dong Yao, who was sitting in the passenger seat, felt that there was always a cold look looking at him from behind, like a light on his back. Why did he provoke the eldest young master of the Fu family? Who is the president? Lu Yu weakly raised her little hand. "Young Master Fu, I am the one here." "Did you recruit him?" Lu Yu denied it flatly. it was Chiao who made the decision. Although I am the president, the backbone of this decision is still Chiao. Wen Qiao felt that Fu Nanli's hand suddenly tightened, causing some pain in her wrist. What are you doing? Wen Qiao felt that Fu Nanli's face was a bit ugly, so she came closer to him and took a closer look. Sure enough, his face was very gloomy, and he felt a little uneasy. How about you go back and stay with your grandma? Do you think it's rude that she came all the way? What will the old man think? She didn't want him to go with her, she just wanted to see him. But the man's expression became even more gloomy. No need. Wen Qiao moved his body, approached Lu Yuyu again, and said in a breathy voice, "What's wrong with him?" "Lu Yuyu? Your boyfriend, you ask me? Who should I ask?" He seemed unhappy. "You coax him. I think my behavior was too rude. He was celebrating my grandma's birthday, so I came over and took him away. When he realized it, he thought I was too petty." Lu Yuyu analyzed seriously, "It makes some sense." Hearing the two of them chattering, Fu Nanli stretched out his hand and pulled her into his arms. Wen Qiao said cautiously, "Your grandma. I've been with the old lady for a few days. She won't have any objections. She is a very open-minded old lady." Wen Qiao looked at him with confusion, then, "Why do you look unhappy? Think for yourself." Wen Qiao thought hard the whole way. Lao Hu sent Dong Yao and Lu Yuyu back to school and drove them to Fu Nanli's apartment. He got out of the car and left the two of them behind. The car stalled, and the sycamore trees were shedding leaves. Fu Nanli sat leisurely and had no intention of getting out of the car. The dim street light outside the car window dimmed the light in the car. Wen Qiao asked cautiously, "Is it because of Dong Yao?" Fu Nanli's brows relaxed, and his voice was helpless. "You finally got the idea." Wen Qiao was a little happy that she had guessed his unhappiness. He is just an ordinary friend. Fu Nanli opened the car door, walked around the car body with an umbrella, opened the door for her, took her into his arms, and carried her upstairs together. At the entrance, he threw the umbrella aside casually, shook it, and fell to the ground. He was held in his arms and he leaned against the wall. It was dark and raining outside, and Wen Qiao just looked at him with a smile. "Do we need boys in the club?" Wen Qiao nodded, "Of course it is necessary. Don't all boys have to do heavy lifting? In fact, she can be used as a male laborer. So why did you recruit him? Why not another boy?" Wen Qiao burst out laughing. "In our small club, there are two people who signed up, him, and a girl named Yushu. The school stipulates that if you want to form a group, there must be a minimum of 6 people, and let's just call it a makeup." Wen Qiao really had an idea, and Fu Nanli would be happy if he said so intuitively. To make up the numbers, the man's big hand caressed the back of her neck. Wen Qiao nodded, "Well, I just made up the numbers. The 4th update is completed. Thank you all for your support. Asking for recommendation votes every day. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 185. New. He took her to the living room, and Wen Qiao said seriously, "We can't be separated for more than 7 days from now on. It's better to have more time. To you, a day without seeing you is like 3 autumns." I almost bit my tongue. Saying such disgusting words really gave me goosebumps. That night she paid the price for her love words and was held and kissed by Fu Nanli for a full 3 minutes. But after Wen Qiao left, Fu Nanli calmed down and felt that it was a bit strange that she went to Shaocheng to find him this time. What's strange about it, I can't tell for the moment. When he went to school the next day, Lu Yuyu stared at Wen Qiao. Why is the corner of his mouth broken? Wen Qiao felt guilty. Isn't it autumn? It's dry, it's getting hot, it's getting hot. Lu Yuyu narrowed his eyes and looked at her. He, did you get angry? Or was it bitten by someone? Wen Qiao put the person into his arms. Shut up. Shut up, someone has silenced you. The sky is blue, and there is a small open-air balcony on the second floor of Minal building, facing a clear lake. On the left is a red maple forest, and on the right is a ginkgo forest. The little red building has a unique location, and the beautiful environment can also cultivate people's artistic sentiments. A Mercedes-Benz parked downstairs. Shang Fan, wearing a peaked cap and low-key clothing, entered the yard and poked his head around. There was no one in the yard, nor in the old building. He vaguely heard the sound of musical instruments coming from upstairs. He put one hand in his pocket and walked along carved spiral staircase leads to the third-floor terrace. I was busy with promotions and never had time to come to Wenqiao. 2 songs for the EP are currently being produced, so he now has time to do something of his own. He relies on talent, not just traffic, so he can do whatever he wants. For example, falling in love. One thing to say is Wenqiao. I like him very much. He is beautiful, plays the pipa well, and has a personality. He is not like other people who become nymphomaniacs when they see him. He stood in the room behind the terrace and made a move that he thought no one could resist his charm. He put one hand in his trouser pocket and rested his hand on the ivory white pillar, posing silently for 3 minutes. No one found it? Shang Fan was a little embarrassed and coughed lightly. Chunxiao was sitting at the back and heard a sound behind her. She looked back and screamed. Several people turned around, and Shang Fan locked his eyes on Wenqiao. We meet again. Lu Yuyu grabbed Wenqiao's hand. Qiao, calm down. Wenqiao, I won't hit him, don't worry. Besides, Shang Fan didn't want to hug her this time. Lu Yuyu and Chunxiao excitedly took photos with Shang Fan. Finally, Lu Yuyu remembered and asked, are you here for anything? Shang Fan walked up to Wenqiao with an extremely solemn expression. I want to pursue Wenqiao. Lin Xiang. Chunxiao. Lu Yuyu. Are all the top people these days doing whatever they want? When the client, Wenqiao, heard the most popular confession in the entertainment industry, she seemed too calm and collected. She glanced at him and said, don't you ask me if I have a boyfriend. Shang Fan regained his courage and asked sincerely, do you have a boyfriend? Yes. Shang Fanping's feet were weak and he almost couldn't stand. Lu Yuyu and Chunxiao quickly supported him one by one. Lu Yuyu, brother Fan, when it comes to relationships, it's first come, first served. Let's forget it. There are plenty of good girls. Chunxiao, brother Fan, we can turn grief and anger into strength, write 2 more good lyrics, and come up with a few more good songs, come on. Shang Fan was unwilling to give in. Is it with your childhood sweetheart? It's said in the book that childhood sweethearts are never as good as falling from the sky. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 186. When Qiao plucked the strings, he is not a childhood sweetheart, he also fell from the sky. Who is he? You call him out, and I will fight with him. Lu Yuyu pulled him aside and said, brother Fan, listen to my advice and stop fighting. She already has a boyfriend, so just forget it. Shang Fan was pulled all the way downstairs and said harshly, I will definitely catch her. Lu Yuyu was sincere, but Shang Fan was stunned and refused to listen. After all, he was from a good background and had a smooth journey. He became famous at a young age and became famous while still in college. He really had not gone through any detours in his life. And he can't catch his girl? This is impossible. That night, a video was circulated on Weibo. It was a video of Shangfan going to the Minal building to find someone from the Minal club. It even vaguely captured him talking face to face with Wen Qiao on the second floor. The person who took this video was Jin Xian, who defected from the folk music club. Zhao Tong emphatically praised her behavior. When the time comes, I will let you join the student union. Do you think it's okay with the External Relations Department? Jin Xian felt that she had taken refuge with the right person and couldn't help but feel complacent. Jin, as the rumors get worse, Hai Mao will definitely come out and slap Wen Qiao in the face. Then we will say that Wen Qiao directed and acted to put money in his face. What do you think? Zhao Tong's eyes lit up. What a brilliant idea. The small group without Sulu is like a plate of loose sand, which will fall apart without the wind blowing. There are noses and eyes posted on the internet. Shangfan is in love with Yang Yin's female student, right? Yes, for the first time at the New Year's Eve party, Shangfan performed with several girls from the folk music group. This time I went to the Yanjian folk music house to find someone, and I definitely wanted to fall in love. Mu Yu is a student of Yanjian. Do you think this female student is actually Mu Yu? It is very possible to wake up the person in the dream with one word, otherwise there is no way to win Shangfan's favor just by being beautiful. Does anyone know what this girl's name is? It seems to be called at Wen Qiao. Weibo gives directions. Why does this routine feel vaguely familiar to me? Didn't someone named Sulu in Yanjian also hint that she was Mu Yu, but was later slapped in the face? Oh, wait and see what happens. My intuition is that this girl named Wen Qiao is taking advantage of Shangfan's popularity and promoting herself. Why are students from Yanjian better fired than those from Yangtze? Do they want to be famous so much? It was the weekend. Wen Qiao was eating chestnuts in his small yard, and Lu Yuyo sent a voice message. It feels like the direction is weird. Is there someone who is pacing it? She stopped her movements and scrolled through her phone. There was a peeled chestnut in her hand. Her Xiao Mo peeled it for her. She threw it into her mouth and touched Wen Mo's head. Eat it yourself. Wen Mo worked hard to peel chestnuts for her sister. Wen Qiao watched more and more Weibo posts about her on the internet. Half and half. Some people said that she and Shangfan must be in love, and some people were discussing whether she was Mu Yu. Wen Qiao frowned. These two hot spots were not what she wanted to see. There was another chestnut in her hand, and she didn't even bother to eat it. Wen Mo shook her hand, and Wen Qiao subconsciously threw the chestnut into her mouth. Wen Qiao sent a message to Fu Nanli, telling him the whole story and asking him not to misunderstand. The other party responded quickly. Got it? Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 187. After thinking about it, Shangfan might not give up and might even go to school to find her. When the time comes, the rumors will only become more widespread, and she must stop them all in time. Hai Mao, in Shangfan's studio, he was about to enter the recording studio to try out a new song, but was stopped by Song Hao. I have something to tell you. Brother Hao, what's the matter? Shangfan said lazily. Song Hao threw the tablet on his desk. The company plans to clarify the scandal with Yanjian student Wen Qiao for you. It doesn't matter, Shangfan, it's absolutely not okay to cause Wen Qiao to be criticized by public opinion. No need to clarify because I am indeed pursuing her. Song Hao. You. Shangfan sat lazily on the sofa. Brother Hao, you didn't say what love prohibitions I have to abide by. Song Hao responded slowly, yes, there is no love prohibition in your contract, but now that your career is on the rise, your girlfriend fans are more than your career fans. If you fall in love now, your popularity will plummet. The record industry, the general environment itself is not good, and it is not easy to produce a talented singer like you. You can't ruin your job. It doesn't matter to me, I can do anything behind the scenes. Song Hao, Wen Qiao can't do it? The little girl didn't even plan to disclose her identity as Mu Yu. It was indeed because of family reasons that it was inconvenient to disclose it. If this bastard pursued her in a big way, wouldn't Wen Qiao be forced to become a public figure? He couldn't let this kid get Xiao Wen into trouble. Shang Fan frowned, I still have to be her. Song Hao had a headache. This was his ancestor, Hai Mao's main pillar, and his money tree. Tell me, how do you promise not to harass others? Shang Fan raised his eyebrows, unless she is Mu Yu. Song Hao was surprised, why? Don't you admire Mu Yu very much? It's not just appreciation, it's respect. In my eyes, regardless of age, she is teacher Mu Yu. I respect her, but Wen Qiao is definitely not Mu Yu. Song Hao clasped his hands together, breathed a sigh of relief, stared at Shang Fan, and smiled without saying a word. Shang Fan snorted softly, don't tell me that Wen Qiao is Mu Yu, I don't believe it. Song Hao approached, it's really her. Shang Fan looked disdainful, brother Hao really did anything to prevent me from pursuing Wen Qiao. He can even make up such lies. She really is. Shang Fan looked unruly, I really don't believe it. Song Hao made a phone call to the finance department, Accountant Huang, bring me all the transfer receipts for Wen Qiao. Shang Fan's expression gradually turned cold, he couldn't. He felt that under normal circumstances, talented girls would not at least have that outstanding appearance. If she had a face like Wen Qiao's, she could definitely steal the show, so why would she remain anonymous? Accountant Huang quickly brought out several bound accounting vouchers, some of which had folded pages. Song Hao took the voucher and said with a smile, otherwise, why do you think I arranged for them to perform with you in the first place? Shang Fan still couldn't accept it, brother Hao, please stop joking with me. Song Hao opened the account book, this is the copyright fee from your Jingj, 300,000, did you see it, the payee is Wen Qiao. Shang Fan's face condensed, how is this possible? Wen Qiao is beautiful. I have never seen any composer and lyricist in the circle who can look like that. Not all people with good looks and sensitive minds can be talented. Constant inspiration. Which music giant are you insinuating? Vote quickly and save the children. There's a vote crisis every Monday morning. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 188. No, 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 Wen Qiao, 19 years old, a pretty little girl, her life should be smooth, and her relationship should have never suffered setbacks. This kind of winner in life with no social experience, she can't have inspiration. Brother Hao, you must have lied to me. That's not clear. If you still don't believe it, I'll ask her to come over. The news on the internet became more and more intense, and Wen Qiao couldn't sit still. Song Hao called, and she went to Hai Mao Company without saying anything. The company was decorated in a Baroque style. After passing through the small postmodern courtyard, she saw Song Hao greeting her at the door. The corridor is full of large posters of the company's artists, and the largest poster on the wall at the end belongs to Shang Fan. Brother Hai Mao has to have a good reputation. Song Hao and Wen Qiao pushed in the door of Shang Fan's studio. Shang Fan immediately stood up with two words written all over his body, respect. Song Hao smiled and said, if you have anything to ask teacher Mu Yu, just ask. Shang Fan couldn't believe it, are you really Mu Yu? Otherwise, brother Hao would give me money for no reason. Are you, Hai Mao, a Shantang owner? Do you have any evidence that you are Mu Yu? Wen Qiao put one hand in his pocket and glanced at him, how to prove it? You compose a song in front of me. It can be simple. Wen Qiao, okay. After all, she composed a lot of music in her previous life and still has a lot of inventory in her mind. Wen Qiao still pretended to think for a moment, then opened FL Studio on Shangfan's computer and started composing music. Her fingers were moving quickly, typing on the keyboard from time to time, making the mouse click. Shangfan and Songhao watched the whole process. Songhao looked appreciative, and he was worthy of being the person he liked. Shangfan looked surprised. This arrangement was very unique, with a dark R/U0026B style. She picked it up easily, and he had to accept it. A half-minute piece of music was just composed. Shangfan was considered a musical talent, so he naturally knew that she had not memorized a ready-made piece of music, or imitated any piece that was already on the market. This is a brand new song. It's very distinctive, the composition is awesome, it's not too decadent, and it's not too catering to the market. Only then did he really believe that Wen Qiao was Miyu. Wen Qiao let go of the mouse in his hand, moved closer to the back of the chair, and looked at the man in front of him. Do you believe that I am Miyu now? She seemed to be in control of the entire scene. Shangfan's expression immediately became respectful. Teacher Miyu, I was presumptuous before. Once he had the blessing of Teacher Miyu, Shangfan only had respect for Wen Qiao and never dared to miss this talented woman. Wen Qiao looked at Songhao, then please ask brother how to make a statement quickly. Songhao, I immediately asked the public relations department to prepare a statement and send it to Shangfan's studio account shortly. After a while, the public relations department drafted a statement and sent it out. At Shangfan's studio, Shangfan will have an EP released before Christmas. Currently, he is fully devoted to his music career. The love rumors are untrue. 2 of the songs in the EP have elements of folk music and ancient styles, so he is a student of Yanjian. There is a certain level of communication. Thank you for your concern. It does not take up too many public resources. I hope everyone will focus on Shangfan's music. Thank you. Shangfan himself appeared in the fan group again and stated that it was just a work negotiation and did not contain any feelings between men and women. He also hoped that everyone would not snipe at innocent people. Fans who were still crying their house collapsed 2 days ago received a shot of heart-stimulating drug from the real owner, and their blood instantly recovered. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 189. The partners and the sponsor's father cannot snipe. Fans still know this. Fans of the Shangfan family are known for their rationality, and soon, only a small group of people on the internet were still attacking Wen Qiao for being a faithful person to Shangfan. Wen Qiao thought with her toes and figured out who was still causing trouble behind them. It was Miss Zhao Zhaotong who was unwilling to lose to them. Songhao asked Wen Qiao again, there are still rumors on the internet that you are Muyu's wife. Do you want to clarify this? Wen Qiao frowned. After all, this matter is true. If you clarify it, you are lying. It will be detrimental to her if she is held accountable in the future. Don't admit it or deny it. Just wait until the heat passes. Okay. Shangfan and Songhao walked Wen Qiao to the door together. How do you go back? Take a taxi. Shangfan volunteered, Teacher Muyu, I'll drive you back. Wen Qiao had a question mark on his face and scratched his neck. Aren't you adding fuel to the fire? Are you afraid that the scandal won't seem genuine enough? Shangfan looked like he was being taught. Yes, I didn't think carefully. Also, just call me Xiao Wen from now on, don't call me Teacher Muyu. This is not suitable. Wen Qiao looked at him with squinted eyes, and Shangfan immediately responded, whatever Teacher Muyu says is whatever it is. Xiao Wen, you are welcome to come here often in the future, and we will have more discussions on music issues. Wen Qiao took a taxi and returned to school. Lu Yuyu sent a WeChat message asking her to go directly to the cafeteria to eat. Lu Yuyu and the others queued up to prepare their meals, swiped their cards, and met Zhao Tong head-on. They smiled and stared at Zhao Tong. Zhao Tong was so angry that he put the prepared meals there. Let's go to the second cafeteria to eat. When passing Lu Yuyu grabbed her and said, "You can go to the second cafeteria. Take the food there to eat, but don't waste the food. In addition, if you find out about my sister's schedule in the future, and if you know that she is coming to the first cafeteria, you should be quick and direct. Don't come over here, do you hear me? People have to keep their word." Wen Qiao held the dinner plate in one hand and put his other hand in his pocket, with words written all over his face, "Stand up for us, Yuyu, and sister is not to be trifled with." Zhao Tong gritted his teeth, "Bandit." In the Bauhinia hall of the second canteen, Zhao Tong turned red with anger. Jin Xian comforted her, "Don't be like those incompetent people." Zhao Tong slapped the table, "I have never suffered this kind of grievance in my whole life. This is too much. I want to buy a navy army. I want everyone to think that Wen Qiao is indifferent to Shang Fan, and let Shang Fan's fans deal with Wen Qiao." Jin Xian's face was a little solemn, but Shang Fan's studio made it clear that his new song has elements of folk music and ancient style, and that the relationship with her is a work one, which clarified it for Wen Qiao, and his fans are not easily influenced by others. Due to the influence of rhythm, it is difficult to incite their hatred towards Wen Qiao. Zhao Tong was very anxious. "Then what do you think I should do? I can't bear this tone. If I don't say I didn't grab the performance opportunity, I will take a detour when I see them in the future. This is such a coward." Jin Xian, "The only thing that can make a fuss now is Mu Yu's identity. We ask someone to ask Wen Qiao face to face whether she is Mu Yu. I think she also has a certain degree of vanity and wants others to think she is Mu Yu. Because she has not clarified it until now." Zhao Tong snorted coldly, "Vanity, then when is the best time to ask?" Jin Xian's eyes flashed with satisfaction. "On Thanksgiving Day, after they finish their performance, there will be a question and answer session from the audience. We will arrange for someone to ask, if she is not Mu Yu, would she dare to lie in front of so many people? Then she will definitely answer her no, but the internet has hinted that she is Mu Yu for so long. I believe most people will think that she is the one who hyped it up. Then won't she be slapped hard in the face? Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me." Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 190. She, what if she shamelessly says that she is? Then do you think that since she clearly said that she is Mu Yu, Hai Mao will not come out to refute her? Just like he came out to refute Sulu. Zhao Tong nodded, "Well, it makes sense. Then invite more people to hype up on Weibo and school forums recently and say Wen Qiao is Mu Yu. Then the slap in the face will be louder." As a result, people on the internet who said that Wen Qiao met the porcelain merchant gradually disappeared. However, there are endless Weibo posts speculating that Wen Qiao is Mu Yu. The media made a mistake last time, but this time I learned to be smart and didn't go to Yanjian to block people. I thought that maybe like Sulu, this female classmate also wanted to hype herself up. Wen Qiao felt that it did not affect his life much, so he ignored it. If you ignore this kind of thing, as soon as a new hot topic comes out, netizens will immediately forget about you. On the weekend, Wen Qiao went home and took Wen Qi and Wen Mo to Chen Yanfei's place. What Dr. Chen means is that Wen Qi can take the medicine 3 times a week instead of every day. His recovery is going very well, and so is Wen Mo. Actually, the biggest psychological shadow in Wen Mo's heart comes from your father. But after I got to know him more deeply, I found that although he lives in his own spiritual world, his spiritual world is actually rich and powerful. As long as his strength is stimulated, His psychological shadow on your father is easy to overcome. Now he is very determined and seems to want to protect you. He has recovered well. You are a good sister. Wen Qiao was completely relieved. After being reborn, she first reversed her destiny and succeeded. She was admitted to the university of her dreams as she wished. The second is to change the tragic fate of the two younger brothers, and we have achieved a lot of success, and the disease is under control. Everything will become better. Wen Qiao sent a message to Song Hao, if one day my identity as Mu Yu is exposed, Brother Hao must protect my privacy and don't involve my family. Song Hao's reply was solemn, don't worry, I will definitely control online speech. Wen Qiao just feels that someone seems to be setting the pace online now, and he is not sure what the other party wants to do. In short, it is right to prepare for a rainy day. She didn't want to reveal her identity, just for the sake of her two younger brothers. Now that her brothers are doing well, most of her worries have gone away. In mid-November, in the evening, Wen Qiao and the others got off the taxi. At the entrance of the alley was a shop selling sugar-roasted chestnuts. Wen Qiao pulled Wen Mo over and said, let's buy a pack. Wen Mo shook his head. Wen Qiao looked at him, what's wrong? Wen Qi snorted, didn't I make you bloated last time you ate? You're still eating. Eat less this time and buy it. Wen Qiao bought a pound of hot sugar-roasted chestnuts, and the three of them walked back. At the corner of the alley, I heard someone talking on the phone. It's not because my image has not been very good recently. Many people said that I abandoned my wife and children, which made it very difficult to do business. I had no choice but to show my face and come here. This is nothing, you're so cowardly. That girl Wen Qiao has a sharp mouth and doesn't know what ugly words she's going to say. It was Wen Jianmin who was talking on the phone. For the sake of business, Yu Zun deigned to come to his ex-wife and children who had abandoned him for more than 10 years, but he still felt aggrieved. Wen Qiao smiled and shook his head. Fortunately, they have all grown up and will no longer be emotionally affected by the scumbag father. Wen Jianmin didn't know who he was talking to. He complained a lot and talked on the phone for a long time. After hanging up, he was shocked to see his three children standing there in the thick dusk. Ask for recommendation votes first. In addition, Big Brother will be released on January 17th. Remember to leave your monthly tickets to me. In case you forget, I plan to roar here for 3 days, so keep it for me, humble little tree.